Hey everyone, this is Carrie again here for Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent, and we are recapping episodes 5 through 8 of The Circle. And it is a pleasure to be able to introduce to you today's guest, fellow silent podcaster, Ganjo. Ganjo, how are you today?
Hey Carrie, how you doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing as good as Courtney is feeling from being an influencer to go to the bottom. You know what I'm saying? My head is everywhere, but I'm excited to talk about these last 4 episodes of
But if you were Courtney, you would twerk it out to feel better. Are you going to do that for us today?
I might give you a little shaky shake if I get in the mood. If it's feeling like that, I might give you a little preview. But how are you feeling?
I am good. My dog got groomed, so over here we are fresh and clean. Just ate a poke bowl. I was thinking this. I know this is a stupid thought, but I'll say it out loud anyway. I want to be famous enough where my local poke place has a bowl called the Carry, so I can just walk in and order the bowl I want, as opposed to having to go through all 7 stages of their menu. I don't think that's too much to ask.
I've never got a poke bowl before.
Oh my God. I could eat them every day. I love them. It's like deconstructed sushi.
Can I get the fish out of it?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to get fish. There's, okay. Do you eat shrimp?
No fish, no seafood. I know this is off subject, but no seafood for me. I'm anti-seafood.
See, I live for the spicy salmon. I do half spicy salmon, half regular salmon, because all spicy salmon is too spicy for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they have for non-seafood options. I'm sure they have, I know they have tofu. I don't know if they have chicken. Some places do, some don't.
Mm-hmm. I will be fine. I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. Maybe I can get my own custom poke bowl if I ever go into the circle.
Yeah, maybe that's how I get famous, to get my own bowl. I know I want one though, because I'm so sick of having to go through all the stages. Actually, and this also happened. So I called in takeout, and they're like, "Okay, can we get a name for the order?" So yeah, it's Carrie, and she goes, "Excuse me." I go, "It's Carrie, Kari." She's like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And I get there, and on the bag, it's Keri. It's like, why did you even ask me to spell it?
They said, we gonna spell it however we want. It don't matter.
Yeah, we're gonna ask you to be polite and waste your time.
Period.
Why? So anyway, thanks for listening to our podcast about the circle, where we talk about anything but that. So we had episodes 5 through 8 drop this Wednesday. It's what we're going to talk about. But Ganjo, tell me what you were thinking about the first 4 episodes.
Oh, coming to the gate, I was really excited because I got my first circle experience. I believe I watched the first season, obviously not live, but I watched it right before they aired. And I'm talking about the first UK season. Mm-hmm. I watched the first UK season right before they aired the second UK season. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was into it. I was like, okay, I like all of this. So I really was intrigued to see the difference between the first US season and the second US season. And I think so far they came out the, gate guns blazing. Mm-hmm. I really like the Terra Alicia and Savannah fight. Not the fight, but I like their position in the game. They both were not scared to try to, position themselves in a good position themselves in a good spot. They both were not scared, and they basically played hard fast. Was it good for either of them? Probably not, but I think Savannah felt like she had to make a move early because I felt like she saw the fire in Terra Alicia, and I think Terra Alicia also saw the fire in Savannah, and I think they both was like, okay, this is probably gonna be my biggest opponent in here, so let me come out the gate and really go hard. I don't know. I don't think Savannah did necessarily anything wrong. I just think Terra Alicia did more things right faster, especially towards the end of when Savannah actually leaves and she picks Courtney to go to, but she didn't know she was picking Courtney to go to the inner circle, but she chose to actually go see Courtney and told Courtney whatever information she had. I think that whole maneuver kind of put Terralisha in not a good position. But I have a really bad bone to pick with Courtney about a decision Courtney made in these other half of the episodes.
Okay, good. That's some nice foreshadowing there. Yeah, I agree with everything you were saying. I think the thing that gets me, and I'm gonna pick on the two women a bit because both of them are STEM and math people in general. They both like ignored numbers in their decisions, if that makes sense. Like with Savannah just saying kind of like fuck the girls alliance, and that's 3 of the other 7 people in the game, which is almost half of them. And Terralisha kind of did the same thing in a way with like the other people and neglecting them, that neither I felt like considered the full picture. I think they were both very much stuck in their little conflict that they created. Really no one else cared. Everyone else was like, I didn't get blocked, so okay, bye, Bryant. See ya. Like, at the end of the day, they're fighting over Bryant, who is the worst character out of the whole series anyway. Like, they lost their games, both of them, because of some hippie-ass white dude. Like, that's what it came down to. And that's something that I hope that they get to reflect on for a while, because that's frustrating on all accounts.
I wholeheartedly agree, because I feel like they both had a decision to make leaving the influencer chat. They had a decision if they were going to air everything out or actually protect each other. They just made a move to, I know it wasn't looking like Chloe was going to stay at first, but I think Chloe was never in danger that first block. And I just think they wanted to make a big deal that Savannah picked Trevor over Chloe. But if Savannah picked Trevor, which was actually a good move for Savannah, I just feel like Savannah had to flip it the right way to be like, I was locked in with the girls regardless, and I knew you were locked in with the girls, so I knew we were not about to take out Chloe. Like, I felt that, and that's all she had to say. But I think what happened was she even showed Terralisha that it was bad that Terralisha threw Courtney's name out. So Terralisha kind of knew a little bit, but she basically gave Terralisha way too much information. Basically to give Terralisha the final blow to take. I think Terralisha probably took Brian out because I think Savannah wasn't really pushing for anybody particular besides Courtney, besides keeping Courtney. So I think the Bryant was just like, you know, he was somebody that was just in the way, basically. Like you said, he was just this random hippie guy who wasn't connecting with people. You made a really good point where Savannah severed ties with half of the circle, and the crazy thing was she wasn't even trying to establish the relationships with the other half that was left in the house. She literally thought she was about to bank on what Trevor and Courtney to get her through the entire game. Like, you literally neglected people because you were so worried about getting Terralisha under you that you failed just as far as her. Like, so what was y'all kind of, I know, you know, hindsight is 2020, but it's kind of, I think something really petty got the best of them. But
I agree. And well, Savannah getting blocked really is what sets up these next 4 episodes, essentially, because a driving force behind all 4 episodes is the Joker. And Savannah had to pick someone to go see who she thinks is going to win the game. So she goes and picks Courtney, and Courtney gets this opportunity to go to the inner circle, which is a new twist. Because on the UK season, the only one who went to the inner circle was Emma, the host. I was like, oh shit, like he gets to go there. Courtney's a lucky guy. And he finds out that the Joker gets to chat to the 2 new players anonymously before anybody else gets to talk to them. And what do you think about this new twist?
I was really excited because I actually didn't. Okay, so I watched the first 2 UK seasons, and then I watched the first US season, and I kind of wanted to come into this US season a little bit differently, because before I was getting the US proper version, but like right in front of the US version. So I noticed that like the US would take basically what didn't work in the UK, they wouldn't try that, and they would take all the good stuff that worked and try to like implement it in their own game, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to come at this a little fresher, just to see what the American version was doing. I guess not seeing what the UK version. So I was very excited to see the Inner Circle because it was just like a new thing that could be implemented in the game. I didn't want it to be too powerful. I did not want it to be broken, and I was a little scared it might be broken. But I feel like Courtney was a good person to be the Joker, but I think Courtney did a good job as being the Joker, but I don't think I would have been fooled by that. I would automatically think a guy did it, basically, because it was too heavy-handed on one side.
Mm-hmm. I think that Terralisha being like, I know who did this, like I feel again, she gets like very tunnel vision on what she believes. That, I mean, this is going forward a couple episodes, but I was just like, but there are other players that this could have been, and I don't know, but I do agree that Courtney is a good player to put in there because he's not afraid to stir the pot. Although I don't really think that anyone that was left at that point, except maybe like Lisa, would have been afraid to like start some shit. Otherwise, everyone is sneaky in their own ways. Some a little bit more like forthright, like Jack is. But then you have like Lee, who kind of like hides behind Rivers, like big hair, and that's why he's big hair. It's full of lies. So
period.
But Lee likes to stir the pot too. So I don't think that there could have been a bad Joker except maybe Lisa, but I'm glad it was Courtney. So we end up going into, like, we see Courtney go into the Inner Circle, but then just cuts to the next day, and we get the news feed being updated with Savannah's video. So Savannah says that there's multiple snakes in the game. Obviously doesn't say who she went to see because that would blow up Courtney's spot entirely. And says, don't trust who says that they have your back, because they don't. So anything from her going home video, her swan song, that you want to highlight?
I don't think she did much with her speech. I feel like she just said, she threw subliminal shots at Terralisha, not trying to make it seem like it was about Terralisha. I think Savannah lost track of where her position was in the game, and I think she felt like, no shade to Savannah, I just feel like she felt like she was more important to the whole cause than she was. And the only reason she wasn't was because she neglected the other half of the people that in the circle that she wasn't initially talking to, and then she stopped talking to her peoples. So how do you expect the little people that you were talking to, that you just turned on, to not want to get you out, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I think it was, I guess if we go back to even Savannah getting blocked, I don't think Savannah should have got blocked. I also don't think Terralisha should have got blocked. You need people in the circle. I know we might get a season in the future where they want a lot of turmoil in there and a lot of kind of beefs, but like being in the circle, I think that's how you hide the best. You can hide when more people are fighting for petty things. These are two real people playing themselves, not getting along, and the catfish are able to just like flourish. I just feel like, yeah, Savannah, the message wasn't really much. I don't think it was really game breaking of what she said. When Courtney commented on basically who Savannah could have potentially saw, I'm like, listen, they all kind of think it's Courtney, but Courtney confuses me because I don't think I would believe Courtney, but everybody in the circle believes Courtney. So it's hard to really gauge it, but I didn't think he played it very well.
No, I think that especially in that circle chat after, he goes like, oh, I wonder who Savannah went to see. Like, bro, whoever smelt it, dealt it type of thing. Like, it was you. You farted. It was you.
Let one loose.
Like, stop it. Stop trying to like stir the pot while also throwing yourself out there, like trying to dodge these bullets. It's not good for your game. Like, stay under the radar. That's the thing that I think Savannah and Terralisha kind of mess up too, is like, they went so hard, so fast. Same thing, like, Courtney, sit on this. Like, let everyone else guess. Do not give them information, because all they have to do there is literally just figure this shit out. Like, they have nothing else. Or maybe like a puzzle that, like they're trying to figure this out. So Courtney being like, oh, I wonder who, like, it was you.
You don't give them no extra like line to hook you with. You don't want them to give no extra bait. Yeah, shouldn't have did it, whatever, he did it. I think a lot of people's catfish radars are not that great, but they're like falling into the right spot. So I don't think they think Courtney is a catfish, but I think they think Courtney is playing too nice. And I think that's what happened with Emily. People start seeing Emily not making a decision. Like, please stop waffling, Emily. Actually have a stance. And I believe this was really the downfall. It started to be the downfall of Emily, because even if it wasn't Emily as the Joker heavily implemented that it was Emily, and like that was the consensus before, I'm trying to say, they all got to talk, or basically before they get to relay information, people thought it was Emily. So meaning like Mitchell and Kat, because like I guess we didn't really introduce them, but
yeah, they're coming up next.
Oh yeah, because they don't. I guess when Courtney basically went to the Joker, he got to talk to those two people, whatever. But I don't know. Do you feel like they're playing this right? Do you think they're actually actively trying to find the Joker, or do you think they're like just gonna let it slide, basically?
I just don't know what finding the Joker does for you. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the game, it's not like you're getting an extra point on your score for the rankings or something, Like, so yes, it's obviously helpful to figure out who is behind the scenes running their mouth. But at the same time, that person didn't really have, I guess Courtney could have gone into the conversation with Kat and Mitchell and been like, hey, I'm anonymous. You don't know who I am, but I really want to work with you. And welcome to the circle. Like, taking a completely.
But that's boring.
Right. And then I think that the circle wouldn't have even shown us the whole Joker twist if he had done that. So I guess like I think information is power. And if you know who it is, that's definitely going to help you. However, I'm not putting my game on the line to figure out who the Joker is, because at the end of the day, the Joker already did what they did. It's not the Joker can do more. So what's the purpose of like sussing that out and putting things at risk when it's kind of just like, let's deal with the ramifications and we'll keep it moving. That's my personal opinion, at least.
I get that. Most definitely.
So someone who kind of impressed me through this part before we introduce our new players is Lee. Lee has like kind of quickly moved his way up my favorite. I'm not big on River, the character, but I like Lee, the person. Like, I wish Lee was playing as Lee, because I think he is like spot on with a lot of his reads. During the Savannah video, he was like, you could have won if you didn't have this blow up. Like, straight up, if you didn't like start this, or if you weren't a part of this drama, there's a chance you're winning this entire game. Lee was on like ready for the Tara Alicia drama to kind of spill out during that circle chat after the news feed. And when Tara Alicia apologized for the truth or dare thing, sorry, I'm going to cough, which is why it sounds like I'm going to cry. I swear I'm not that emotional. Lee cries, so I cry. He has an effect on me.
Yeah, he is a sappy one. He likes to let him fly.
About everything. And that's probably like my only complaint about Lee is like, bro, I cannot like keep stop it. Just stop it. But he even like calls out Tara Alicia in a way where he's like, you took the first shot at Savannah. So you saying this, I don't know. I just think that he's able to see multiple perspectives and not his own, and just is really picking up on a lot of the like minute details that can actually make him go further. So just wanted to put my Lee praise out there early in the podcast in case he listens and wants to come on, doesn't have to listen to like the last hour and a half to hear it. I'm Team Lee. I support you.
I like Lee. I feel like I agree 100%. River is annoying, and I don't know how they don't see through River, but Lee is so cool. So it's like he's very calm. He's like very like an embracing presence. So I feel like he makes them want to talk to him, especially as River. And River just looks like a cool dude, like off just pictures or whatever. I do feel like River understands or Lee understands his position. Even before what happens later on, I think River correctly identifies that he's made good relationships at this point with Tiralisha, Courtney, and Chloe. He's been in chats with all of them, talking to them, and I think he sees him being in a good like middle spot, like the spot that Trevor loves to be in. Which shout out, I like Trevor too, but the spot that Trevor wants to be in, Lee is almost there and almost taking full control of that position. So I like Lee. I like what Lee is doing. Lee does cry a lot, but it's okay. If you cry to your way to that 100K, we love to see it.
I love it. We meet our two new players, and we have Mitchell, who is related to people from season 1, Tammy and Eddie, who came in as the mother-son duo. Well, he's Tammy's other son, Eddie's brother, and the most important information we got about him is he's a virgin. Why the fuck was that included in his fucking package? That made me so mad, because I'm like, unless there explicitly is a challenge where it's like you have to have sex with someone, literally him being a virgin has no bearing on this game whatsoever, because people don't even know if he's real or not. Like, why are you telling me this right now? This is not The Bachelor. It actually made me genuinely mad.
And it's like, why? I mean, why is that his storyline when his storyline could have just been Tammy and Ed's kin? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, his whole storyline literally could have just been he's the family of previous circle people. So it was just, I mean, he's already like categorically, like, you know, universally, like acceptably attractive. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's the attractive white guy, like, that you would want to put on the show. I'm not gonna hold you up at first, because I didn't get a nice good energy from Tammy and Ed when they played. I thought they played it very poor. I just thought they was all over the place. So I didn't have that high of hopes for Mitchell, but he quickly, I'm not gonna hold you up, he got me. Like, I actually got Mitchell's vibe, like, off rip. Like, even when they were talking with the Joker, I kind of felt like Mitchell knew that he had some stuff to do. He knew he had to make some moves, basically. And if he didn't come in with that same mindset, I think it would have been a whole different story later on.
Yeah, I was surprised because I read on Wednesday when the people who like wait until midnight to watch The Circle come out, like as the second it drops, and tweets all about it. Fuck those people. But when they tweeted that like this was the family of Tammy and Eddie, I was just like, what the hell? Like, this casting sucks. Like, I hate the fact that you have to like have a connection to be on this when there's so many of us like in our little community who have applied for this show because like we think we can do well on it, but sorry, my mom wasn't on there, so I don't have a chance. So anyway, that annoyed me, and I expected to like not like him because of that. But actually, I like him. I like what he brings to the circle. I think that he is the better player, or the best player of the 3 family members that have been on. So clearly, I definitely agree with you that like I was hesitant at first, and he has quickly won me over. But let's introduce the real star right now. Period. It's Kat. Kat is the star. She is fantastic. She is a 6'7" pro volleyball player. So I am 4'10". She is 21 inches taller than me.
Oof. Oh my God.
21 inches. That's more than my vertical. So like I can't even do my highest upright jump and be as tall as Kat. But besides that, she has the best personality. She's just so funny. She has so much energy. She brings such good vibes to the circle. I am so excited. And she also has implied, like, I'm here. I'm not going to be a part of the drama, but you can see me starting it. Like, I'll pour the gasoline and then be like, all right, you're on your own.
Yes, Kat is a shining star. As soon as she walked in, I was like, we love to see it. Instantly, I'm like, I love Kat. She radiates. She radiates an energy that they see through the messages. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee, like I can see it through the screen. Like I see her radiating this energy through them, and they're accepting it. And I think Kat basically, when I first when I saw her, I was like, she might win.
Yeah.
I was like, she might win only because of what the landscape of the house is like. They're all broken. Like the person who's in the strongest spot is River, and I would say Chloe. Chloe's up there, but the thing with Chloe is, and the thing how the circle works out is, I feel like most of the really popular people will always get ranked low at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're popular for too long, people will rank you low because
Mm-hmm.
you're usually at the top. So I think besides River and Chloe, and I didn't say this earlier, I really like Trevor. Trevor's my favorite. Like
Mm-hmm.
Delisa, like I really like her. I really think she's, even though she's kind of, on murky waters around this point because Savannah just got taken out, so she really doesn't have a strong, she doesn't have a strong connection.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the position that Trevor is in. But to go back to Kat, I think Kat has, I never doubted Kat. Like, I'll hold you up. Like, I never doubted Kat. Like, I thought Savannah and Tara Alicia had, the power to go through far, but Kat, I know she does. So I personally feel like we're going to see Kat in the finale. But
I
how do
hope
you feel about
so.
Kat? Mm-hmm.
It'll be sad if she leaves. Before we move on, we've got Geneva, who is
Hey,
also one
Geneva.
of our silent podcasters following along with us. But when talking about Mitchell being the virgin, that maybe it's to give across that he is a nice, wholesome guy rather than what he could be perceived as based on his photos. I think that's a legit point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like, because then you get into like, well, if you have sex, are you not a wholesome person?
Mm-hmm.
And due to the fact that I'm a high school teacher, I'm not going to talk about this from a personal point of view, but I think that if you have sex, you can still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can still be fine. So
You,
I don't like, not that saying that Geneva is implying that by any means,
mm-hmm. No,
but
yeah.
otherwise the info is relevant. I think we've kind of talked about this in like the greater community of, if you need to say that you're a nice guy, then are you a nice guy? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're funny, you don't need to say you're funny. Your actions lead these judgments. And so I wonder if like I'm hot as fuck, but I'm also a virgin is like the roundabout way of being like, so I'm a nice guy. Like
No, because you can be a douchebag and still just not be able to seal the deal with the girl. I'm sorry, like, or a guy, whoever you decide to be with.
right.
But I just don't, I feel like it was very irrelevant. I don't understand, because the problem is, if Mitchell was a dud, and they were just stunt casting him because his
Mm-hmm.
family was previously on, then I don't want to say I will understand it, but it will make more sense that they tried to, like, they have something with Mitchell, so it's kind of like, why do this? And
Right.
why did this even get brought up in casting? Like, are you a virgin? Like, why is that even a focal point? Because he already had the end, so he showed y'all probably he had a good personality. Y'all wanted him, so why does
Mm-hmm.
it matter about their sexual history? I don't have a problem with anybody being a virgin or not being a virgin, but
Right.
it's
It's not my business.
also creepy to make a whole storyline about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bachelor, and this is what y'all get. Like, this is exactly what happens. But other than that, hopefully the virgin talk does not come up again. I mean, he's obviously very okay with his body and, like, fluid enough to post his butt on national TV. So
She got a big booty, so I call her. Anyways, I don't know if we can sing 2 Chainz on here. So, Courtney then gets his first mission as Joker, which is the conversation that we alluded to earlier. But before that conversation happens, we get Kat and Mitchell getting to look through everybody's profiles and kind of like giving their quick snap analysis. I thought it was hilarious that she read Emily's, where it says like, here for a good time and hopefully a long time. And she's like, that's a dude. That's all it took her. Like, that's a dude. She also was like, that's definitely not Lance Bass. She didn't really have much reasoning besides like, I'm a diehard fan. Mitchell didn't know who Lance Bass was. And I just personally thought that every single opinion that Mitchell gave was like the opposite of true. So, like who is a catfish, who's a man, who's a woman, whatever. Did you take anything from their evaluations that?
I took the dude comment was funny, saying I'm here for a good time and not a long time, because I do know a lot of guy friends who say that, and that is so funny. But I think Kat is very perceptive. I mean, it's hard to be 100% correct in the circle unless you just have to, give yourself time to know. But off first instinct, I think they both had okay reads. Mitchell not so great. Kat better, but time will tell, because all of these people thought Charlize was a catfish. So that was the vibe. So it's kind of hard to gauge, but I have fun watching them try to guess, to see just off profiles what they could get from that.
It's like the Tinder version of the circle, where it's like, let's do a quick like swipe left, swipe right on these people, see what we can get out of them. Like, is there a match? But it's that like quick judgment of them. So they open up a chat for the two new players, and this is my first question of when will we see Mitchell wear a shirt? I know that the host mentions it a few times, but I feel obligated to also mention that I don't know if I saw him wear a shirt once in these 4 episodes. Unless his like shirt is like, you know how you can like buy the t-shirts with like the abs and like the chest on it, like that would be hilarious if that's the only shirt he has too. So he's always showing his chest. But I first noticed here, I'm like, okay, I don't think this dude's gonna wear a shirt at any time. But these two go back and forth, and then all of a sudden the Joker appears. So the Joker shows up, says, and the players are told this is one of the other circle players. They remain anonymous. Whatever happens in this conversation has to stay in this conversation. You cannot talk about it. And
put a pin in that, because I had a question for later, like about the anonymousness of the conversation. Anonymity. It sounds like anonymity. I'm sorry, keep going.
In other news, I have nothing close to an English degree. So basically the Joker, aka Courtney, gets it, or tries to make it come across that the Joker is Emily, and throws Chloe underneath the bus, throws Tara Alicia underneath the bus, and really wants these two new players to come in being anti-women in general, and specifically going after Emily and Tara Alicia, which we know those are Courtney's top 2 targets anyway. So what did you take of the Joker conversation?
First of all, I wish that Kat and Mitchell got a little bit more time to talk before the Joker just swooped in. I think they had like 2 messages, if I'm not mistaken. I seen 2 messages on the screen before the Joker actually came in. I feel like at this point, Courtney is still trying to play Savannah's game. I think Courtney is still in the mindset of the girls turned on Savannah, so I'm about to get the rest of these girls out for Savannah. Like it is very anti-women how hard he was going basically towards the other women, because he didn't throw any man under the bus. So why wouldn't you think? Why would you think it would be the only girl that's left out? Like, I felt like Courtney's conversation was very transparent that it couldn't have been the person that it was supposed to be perceived to be, if that makes sense. Why would that person come in like that unless they wanted you to know that they had your back, if that makes sense? But it didn't seem like they got the sense that the Joker even wanted to work with the new people per se. It was more so taking down the people that was in the circle currently. But I mean, I liked the conversation because they was digging. They got whatever information they needed from the Joker, and I think they're going to use that information somewhat wisely later on.
Yeah, I think it's such an advantage to have that information, whether or not it's true. You still are going in with like some sort of idea of what's going on or what had gone on before you. I do think that Courtney did miss out on an excellent opportunity to not just like trash people, but also build up working with them. Like you had said that. I mean, these are two, again, thinking in terms of numbers. So what, there's 9 people, 2 of 9. If you exclude yourself, it's 2 of 8. That's 25% of the game right there that you could have easily just been like, hey, I want to work with you. You'll figure out who I am.
He had
and when you
dibs.
do, like
He had dibs by getting the Joker. He had dibs on him first.
And he just went the petty route instead, unfortunately. So, I mean, given, to be fair, if like hindsight's 2020, that he did get the results that he's wanted out of these 4 episodes, but I don't know, just because you're getting rid of people, it doesn't mean that you're like replacing them with others. You still need votes going your way. So Geneva also mentioned that Mitchell didn't have great reads, but eventually did figure out that Courtney was a Joker, which definitely true. Good on that, because I don't think anybody else has realized that. I mean, he had the benefit of being in the conversation with the Joker, but he also has the benefit of Terralisha not coming up and being like, it's 100% Emily.
I was about to say that. He didn't have nobody clouding his judgment like Terralisha. Like, he was 100%. Oh, Emily is it.
Yeah. So there's a extra little like benefit of not having Terralisha coming to visit you after she gets blocked. So our next game that happens is called Two-Faced, and each player uploads a picture of themselves being naughty and nice. And a couple of things that came out of this were that Emily was getting some catfish vibes from the other people based off the pictures she put up. Did you look at those pictures and be like, you have to be a catfish because you're putting up these 2 pictures?
I mean, they're most definitely nitpicking, but when you get to this point and not knowing anything they're going to nitpick, I don't think this challenge like was good. Like,
I agree with you.
I just feel like it just the challenges. Okay, I actually have some type of feels about some of these challenges. Like the first couple seasons with the challenges, they were like very balanced and like not too exposing, and I just feel like some of these have been unfair with what it's exposing or who they're exposing at specific times. So it's kind of like it's not really balanced in that sense. But I didn't really take too much from this. I thought it was a way to, you know, try to curry favor with people like Mitchell. Got people that got probably he probably got people to rank him higher later on than he would have if he didn't put his butt on the screen. You know what I'm saying? He did little strategic things, and like, because for some reason, this exact challenge was a big reason why the tide officially turned on Terralisha later on, because they felt like she came in with filters on her face that they couldn't really see her, which was dumb to say, because why would a catfish use filters? Like, I know that's like hindsight, or like that's just like, you know, extra thinking, but like, why would a catfish post pictures that filters on it? Maybe Terralisha just, I get the sense that Terralisha, I don't want to say this like I'm speaking for Terralisha, but just like the energy she gave me, the picture she posted, she just wasn't like too into just raw pictures. Like she just don't have too many just pictures that's just not filtered. Like just that's what I'm just guessing, because the pictures she chose weren't the best pictures she could have chose. So I'm just thinking a lot of hers wasn't like, I guess, cool enough for the challenge. That's why I don't think the challenge was like, I guess, that great, because it kind of helped people out in like a weird way, but it kind of like wrongly, I guess, made somebody like a catfish.
I guess the thing that gets me, and this is where I struggle as a viewer, because as someone who likes to circle the TV show, I've obviously like tried to listen to as much as I can about it from behind the scenes, because there actually hasn't been a lot coming out about behind the scenes of what happens in the show, except for this past UK season. And so I actually listened to the RHAP podcast with Vithin, which I crossed enemy lines doing that. Not a big, I don't usually, but I had to, because I heard that he exposes some stuff. And so when people are using things like, this person had a lot of filtered photos, the people on the show must know that, like, the catfish profiles, whoever they are, obviously they don't know who they are, but whoever they are, like, they're paying these people to use their photos. They get like 30 of their photos to pick from. Like, so I don't like the whole argument of, oh, well, she had filtered photos. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, normal people use filtered photos. Like, that's what Snapchat is those goddamn dog ears. Like, I was playing with them earlier today. I hate when they have the ones with the glasses, because of like wearing glasses, it just doesn't look right. But like, anyway, I don't understand why that's the argument. And that's like what, again, you kind of have to grab at straws sometimes on these shows. I understand, but that's where I go and think of it like, okay, the contestants know more than we do about what's going on behind the scenes. They must know this. So if you're using this as your reason, like, be better.
And I want to say this before I forget later on, and this is about to open up a floodgate of like, I feel like maybe conversation between me and you, but like, I just feel like it's not so, like, I really want people to get away from trying to find catfish. Like, I just want that to not be your goal. Your goal is to find people in this game that you can trust, that will rank you high, that will put you in a spot to take somebody else out, or you're able to put them in a spot to take somebody else out. And I think, you know, grasping at straws to make somebody feel like they're catfish and actually taking people out because you don't necessarily like feel like you could trust them in that aspect, it's just not good. It's just like, I think it's like, it's the next level of game I think they still need to get to, where I think they're starting to focus on the strategy more, but they're more so like looking at little things that could, you know, it's not going to help them at the end of the day.
I think the only advantage of like the whole catfish hunting thing does come down to if you are actually playing yourself, because then you do have that, like, that could be a legit reason. If it could be, I'm not like defending it. I thought that Manrika took a great approach to it in season 2, where she's like, if someone's a catfish, sick, I don't care. As long as they're ranking me high and I'm cool with them, I'll keep them around. And I'm hoping that as more people watch the show that they're about to go on, that we see more of that. But I agree that I think that it's an easy out for someone who is a real person. However, it shouldn't be the driving force. And to be fair, I don't feel like there's been a ton of catfish conversation in this season, better than other ones. But I do get your point. I agree with you. Like, we need to, like you said, elevate the level of play here. And I think that in order to step up to that next level of strategy is to not ignore, but keep catfish in your back pocket. It doesn't need to be the driving force.
You can throw catfish under the bus. You can actually go talk to somebody else and be like, hey, I think Carrie is a catfish, but I actually like Carrie, but so it doesn't matter. You're gonna try to say it, or you could be like, you could plant that in somebody else's head and then have a conversation later and be like, I was just talking to such and such, and they basically think you're a catfish. And like, and even if I don't think you're a catfish or not, I want to work with you. I don't know if they can have exactly those conversations. Right. I know the conversations has, like, you can't, like, I don't know, you can talk about what happened in other conversations, but you can't say specific things, right? Like,
you can't talk about like where you ranked people. I know that. I'm not sure what else, because again, like, I've looked and there's not a lot of information available about the rules and regulations of this show, except for like what's come out from this last season. So I guess to like kind of go with what you're saying though, in Vithin's thing, he basically said like, you don't get to choose who you talk to. Production chooses who you talk to. And what was the other point that I was going to make from that? Oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank, but essentially, like,
basically you have limited time, you have limited ways to have communication with people.
Yeah, and here's what I was going to say is, at least for the UK one, and again, this gets into whole like laws and regulations and shit. The UK one was trying to like make a TV show about a game. It is not a game show. Where,
oh yes, I get it.
Yeah, so they kind of like picked and choose. He felt that, like, he described it as if the show had 12 eggs to put in a basket, 11 of them were invested in one storyline. So they needed to make this storyline happen. He implied that things happened that were very produced or manipulated. However, the United States has like laws and regulations on this type of stuff when there's money for it, but I don't know what that law and regulation is if it's filmed in the UK, if they're following those same guidelines. So again, with like so little information coming out except for what's been very reactionary over this very recent time period, it's hard to like, that's why I have such a hard time of figuring out like, is this person a bad game player or are they getting fucked over?
No, I look at it as the conversations you have and how good you make each person feel on camera when you're having those conversations.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of producer influence, unfortunately, and like that's so crazy how you explain that, because that makes so much sense of them making a show about a game basically instead of a game show, because it's kind of like if they're making a show, then they don't give a fuck. They want a specific person to win because they want that storyline to come across. I mean, can we go back to season 2 of the UK when spoiler alert, Patty wins? What happens? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, how did it happen? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It was, I don't want to say it was random, but it was just like, okay, how did that happen? Like, so it's, and Patty came in late as hell. So it was just like, you know, how anything can happen in the circle.
Well, the other thing that's weird, and I've been meaning to look this up, is I think the first 2 seasons of The Circle in the UK, it was like, it was kind of, I don't want to say live, but it was kind of live. Because if I remember, wasn't there like
voting? It was the second season was live.
Yeah, so it's a lot. I think, in my opinion, it could be a little bit more difficult to create the storyline you want because you only have so much time to manipulate it. I could be wrong though.
No, that's a good obviously. Point. That's a good point.
Versus like the US one, the first US one and this last UK season all happened without any audience interaction. So that's something to consider too. And again, I don't know, the Vithin, watching these 4 episodes after listening to the Vithin interview, it just like put a totally different perspective on this game for me, because we've heard like confessionals where I think it was in like the intro video for someone where like the person who was interviewing the contestant was British because you heard their accent. So is it the same people producing the British one as it was the American one? If that's the case, like, is the same type of stuff going on? And so then who's getting the chats? Because like we've seen ones like, why are you using one of your chats in the time frame between the rankings being put in
on one person? On one person? I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but some shit happened with Emily and Mitchell later on where I was like, okay, you're only talking to one person, but then other people were in a group of people talking to each other. I don't know if you keep that.
Yeah. Yes. So it's things like that where I'm like, I don't understand the reasoning behind this. If you're like playing a game for a large sum of money, you aren't doing stupid shit like this if you only get 2 chats a day or whatever. So there's a lot of things that I'm just like, I need answers. I need clarification on. So anyway, I know we've kind of derailed, but
it's all relevant. No, that's important. No, it's most definitely not a derail completely, because it's important to talk about, because if you're not choosing who you actually get to talk to and you have limited time to talk to people or limited opportunities to talk to people, then you're not really able to play like that. You're not able to make those relationships and foster those bonds that if this was I don't want to call it if this was a real game, but if this was a real game, like, you will be able to, let's say you did have 4 chats you can have. You can have 4 chats all day. That's it. And I think that'd be good if we knew that's what it was. But if they're choosing, it's not good at all. And like you said, America has like laws against that. And it's kind of weird when you shoot over somewhere. It's kind of like
challenge.
Yeah. So you think challenge is kind of like that too? I didn't peep that.
I think that I mean, just from stuff I've read, that there's a reason they're called the Challenge Gods. The production team is because they play God a little bit. I don't know if it's to the exact point of like they choose the winner, obviously, but I do think that there is some influence.
They proved it this last season. And if people want to go watch Double Agents, the first elimination should have been the opposite way. But like, I personally feel like that showed me that statement you just made was 100% true, because why do that? If you had that, like, you know what I'm trying to say, that's a juggernaut match. So why not make that happen? But I guess we should talk about the circle. I'm sorry.
I can also talk about the challenge forever. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should have even listened to the Pippen interview now that I heard all this, but from here on out, we will take it with the salt shaker of salt, because it's not just a grain, but the large salt shaker.
Can we do pink Himalayan salt too?
I was just about to say that. The large salt shaker of pink Himalayan salt, that there is some stuff that goes down that we don't know about. I'm going to try my best to take things for face value for the rest of this conversation. But it is worth listening to that Vithin conversation if you're interested in like the behind the scenes type of thing, because he definitely he just puts it out there, and never, it is weird because it's not in like an angry way. It's more just like, this is what happens. It's very objective. So
that's because I don't think they get the good side of this. Like they don't, I feel like they don't get the fair side. If they are most of their shows choosing who they want to win, then I don't think they get the fair shake. So they don't even understand strategy that much. They look at somebody like Freddie and looked at him crazy. Like he was a villain because he was actually trying to win. So it was just like, what's going on here? But I hope the US doesn't fall into that false sense of how the UK works, because I'm not saying it's not good, but it's just like everybody. I don't know. Okay, we can move on, because I was about to go off on a whole other tangent. Basically, about how they treat each other. They treat each other so crazy on TV, but they are so much nicer to each other, if that makes sense. Like they talk to each other so much crazier, but they actually like each other. But in America, we respect each other, but don't like each other. So it's that's like weird dichotomy.
Culture thing too, though. Like that's just Anyway, we will move on, because we have now spent 50 minutes talking about the first 15 minutes of the first episode of 4 we have to cover. It's fine. We'll do we'll make it quick and dirty, kind of, because I think I also have to tutor soon. Not soon, but like 6 o'clock soon. So anyway, well, 6 my time, not your time. Anyway, so now that the audience knows what I'm doing with my evening, so we have the Joker come in and talk to the new players. Then there was that game that kind of sucked, but the last 2 sets of pictures were Kat's and Mitchell's. So this is how the new players get introduced to the rest of the already playing players. Oh, that was badly phrased. You know what I mean? The people already in the circle. The people in the circle. I got caught up in my brain there. So the circle chat opens, and I thought this was funny. Mitchell goes, "Hey, Circle Familia," and Kat's like, "What the fuck? Why are you saying Familia?" Like, the Joker came in and said, "Oh, Circle Family. It's actually not. Like, stop giving us away already." Like, Kat's on paranoid level 10. The first message sent in, and she's like, "Mitch, what are you doing?" And that was funny. Chloe's already flirting. Terralisha and Chloe are flirting. I guess I wrote them flirting twice. And it didn't really come up too much about the Joker. Like, there was, I feel like, a hint of something, but that was really it. So anything you want to mention about their circle chat?
I think they both did good at coming in strong, introducing themselves. I don't think they came off a little weird. They didn't really tip off the fact that they really had a big conversation yet. Like, they just kind of just came in, as best as they could. I like this part because it was nice and quick, and they got to just get in and get out.
I love that Mitchell was like, I'm young and I can't keep up with the group chat. Like, this is too fast for me.
It's like, damn old man Mitch, like, what's going on here? But like, it's okay, bro. You'll catch up. I mean, I'm pretty sure that chat be going fire when it's 8 people in circle chat. Like,
and they're all trying to put a good word in to make a good first connection with the new players. Yeah. And they're talking to 2 people at once. So you're trying to, I can understand that happening. When that usually happens in not saying that I have 2 new people introduce any group chat I'm in any time, but when it goes off like that, that's when the do not disturb button gets hit. It's like, Oh, I'm not scrolling back, guys. Like I'll catch up, or
Mhm.
I'll say something when it slows down and no one's talking.
Yeah, but that's like real life when you get introduced to a lot of people and you're the new person. Everybody's telling you their name, but they all
Mhm.
know each other. But like it's a lot for you, but it's nothing for them to learn two names.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you're just like, hey, everyone. And
Period.
I will learn your names within the next 4 to 6 weeks. It's kind of like the shipping on something, but I'll
Mhm.
get there. I'll get there.
Eventually.
So we get Trevor chatting with Kat and Terralisha, and he called it the Beautiful Black Queens chat. And I thought it was so funny when he was like, "So what BBQ mantra can I give to my daughter?" And because I read it as barbecue as well, was like, what is he trying to say right now? And then she's like, "Oh, black or beautiful black queen."
Listen, I was on the same tip. I was like, barbecue,
Yeah,
like, huh? Come on, you can't
like
be
we're
doing
ready.
this.
You're ready inviting people to like the family barbecue. I don't think that's like you're jumping. You're going a little too quick there.
I'm also a
Um,
little slow, but you know.
um, so they talk just about how Trevor is raising a black girl on his own and that he respects the two of them
Mhm.
as beautiful black women. What advice do they have? And I wrote Trev and it looks like Trey. I'm like, who the fuck is Trey? So Carrie. So and then it comes up of like what's been going on. Kat kind of is like, all right, catch me up.
Mhm.
And Trevor was like, oh, well, there was some drama. Terralisha, care to explain? Like just totally passes off that hot
Mhm.
potato. And based off of it, Kat kind of figures out like, okay, Terralisha's kind of at the bottom here. So this conversation, what were you thinking of it? Any opinions, things you want to
I
stress?
I really like this for Trevor. I think Trevor needed this.
Mhm.
Trevor could have left Terralisha in the dust, but Trevor correctly identified. Sorry. Trevor
I
correctly.
should have really covered for you and like tried talking, but I just was not ready for it.
It's okay. It like squeaked through. Oh my god! But basically, Trevor did good by like not just throwing Terralisha basically along the way and tried to foster that relationship with Kat at the same time, and basically create. Okay, basically, I feel like it should be a whole bunch of I know I'm still in they swag, but it should be a whole bunch of inner circles within the circle. You
Mhm,
should want to be a part of multiple groups within the circle. And like
mhm,
I think that's the safest way to keep yourself out of being blocked and to potentially become an influencer.
mhm,
Because when you are I don't want to say only discuss in group chats and like this is subjective, only knowing that you may or may not be able to choose your private chats, but wherever you can, I will try to link myself to two other people just to be one and two somewhere. Like yeah, I will take two twos, I will take one and two, I will take two
mhm.
ones, but as long as I'm linked up with somebody and I can get that. But I felt like this was a really good chat for all three of them. I think it might have been a little late for Terralisha because I think Terralisha didn't have a chance to have this type of conversation with a lot of other people. Terralisha was more so strategy, which I
Yeah.
think it was good to see Terralisha come in because Terralisha was more strategy, and then we usually see people who are more relationships, and it shows that you have to have some kind of balance of both. You can't just be a game bot in this game because people will stop trusting you. So
Mhm.
I like this conversation overall.
So something that Terralisha at first pointed out as annoying was like, okay, Trevor is just putting this on me of like, go ahead, explain it. But if I was her, I would want that because I was one of the two parties
Mhm.
involved, and I would want my version of this story to
Period.
be the one that someone hears.
Mhm. Not the frozen computer. Yeah, I'll be the one. I'll be the one that want my side, you know, talked about from me, from my own opinion. I want to make sure that nothing was getting misconstrued another way. I think Terralisha basically was had a layup. Trevor could have said little nice things to back Terralisha up, but lobbing it off to Terralisha was actually good for Trevor because Trevor didn't have to really, either lie or say the wrong thing. So I think that was good for Trevor to do. I feel like Terralisha explained herself kind of well. I think, she got Kat to somewhat trust her and somewhat feel like, she could use her in the game. I think Trevor got out of that conversation and also felt very comfortable with Terralisha. So, yeah, I feel like it was a good conversation overall, no matter what. Kat basically is taking a spot that I feel like a lot of the players kind of neglected early on, and understanding that some people may be on the bottom, but it's actually good to, work with as many people as you can, which I think strongly benefits Kat at the end of the game. So I think Carrie was having some technical difficulties. So when Carrie comes back, we can finish. Okay, Carrie's back.
I'm back. Yeah. I have no idea what just happened.
It said air, and then it just stopped. It's okay. Yeah. If you want to just hop right back in, you were about to talk about
that I would want
explaining. Yeah, explaining what
I would want to be the one that explains what happens versus being in the same room as someone who's explaining what happened to me, because like that's my story, not yours. So her like original annoyance at that was confusing to me because I would want that opportunity personally.
Do you think she explained herself well in that situation, basically to Kat, because Kat really didn't know?
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember. Okay. I watched 4 episodes in a row last night, so it all
no shade, but I actually had to take a break after 3 and then finish the 4th one like another time because I almost got bored at one point, but like it hits a dry spell at one point, like within like between 3 and 4, it's like just it's okay.
Ideally, I would have done like 1 and then maybe like 1 or 2 more and then 1, but just with like the timing of everything this week, that I was like, all right, I now have this amount of time to get these done, so here we go. So I just genuinely don't remember because it was 4 straight hours of The Circle last night. Okay, so we get Lance chats with Chloe and River. Chloe is trying to figure out if like she should stay with Trevor or she should stay with Mitchell, essentially. Like she already has dibs on all these people.
Which I don't understand why Chloe just don't understand she can have both.
Yeah.
Like I'm not understanding why that's not an option for her. She's like, I have to pick one. I think it's because she openly flirts. And I don't think she knows how to not openly flirt.
No, that's what Chloe is flirting. And to be fair, like normally flirting annoys the hell out of me on this show in terms of a strategy, but I think she actually is like, she's doing it well. She's using it to her advantage in a solid way. So I'm not too mad about it. But from that conversation, she could tell that Lance and River were both more Team Trevor than they were Team Mitchell. So she kept her crush for Mitchell under wraps, which way to go. Sorry, that was like a cough sneeze. And then let's see, we've got Mitchell chats Emily. So Mitchell came in and was like, yo, Emily's a smoke show. And their lines were trash. Like I felt like it was 3rd graders talking to each other.
Yeah, it was bad. But I don't know. I don't know how many guys you talk to that's not your boyfriend, but like sometimes like girls talk like that. So like I was kind of like, okay, Jack, you actually sounding like a girl right now. Like and not even sounding feminine, just like giving the same energy a girl would give. So like I want to say Emily was not super bad. I think Emily, and especially in this conversation, Emily did really good. For some reason, Emily was able to convince Mitchell that like, Emily has Mitchell's back. The problem with Emily was in the middle for so long and not trying to actually have an opinion. being in group chats and not saying anything is the worst position you can be in.
Yeah.
Because people, no matter what, they want to answer versus not an answer. They respect you more for telling them that you don't like them versus you not answering them at all. So I think Emily's biggest downfall was really not expressing himself enough, as Emily. And I think he was just scared to like fuck up. So, which is fine, but he knew how to talk to Mitchell somehow. So I think that conversation was really good. Oh, not Carrie being frozen again. So I want to say after this conversation with Mitchell and Emily really feels like he got Mitchell hook, line, and sinker. And he kind of does. Like Emily kind of in a position where she has Mitchell for some reason. That's literally the only person Emily has. Like Emily has lost a lot of the relationships Emily had, because we can circle back to, eliminating Savannah. Like when Emily decided to take Savannah out instead of somebody that was in, it's okay, Carrie, instead of somebody that was in the middle, I think that's what showed a weakness in Emily's game.
Whatever
I was
Ganja
just saying,
said was right.
yes,
It's right.
period.
It's correct.
It's just all about Emily. And I basically say Emily did good in this conversation with Mitchell, but I think Emily's biggest flaw was, incorrectly taking Savannah out and not taking middle people out. Because I think that put Emily in a peculiar position where Emily didn't have the initial bonds that got her to influencer. So he was really like, I keep interchanging he and she. I'm so sorry. It's so hard when, they're like switching catfish and it's a guy and girl, but
right.
Jack basically was doing okay at this point.
Yeah, I just think the one thing I would love if like Jack wasn't so cocky, it's hard to watch sometimes. That ego, it's like you're already as tall as the room. I just don't understand how your head gets through from room to room with those door frames. But obviously that gets a little bit later. So
no, it's good to watch because of exactly what you said. It's
the like downfall.
You get to see the downfall. And I'm gonna say this right now because actually this is a good time to say this. I think people need to, if they're fans or claim they're fans, they need to be paying attention to what happened in previous seasons, because I think something that could have been avoided got one of these people eliminated from the circle, and it almost took two of them out back to back for different reasons, for different like situations. And it's basically, I'm talking about Emily and Courtney. And I feel like, is this I'm sorry, you can keep going. Basically,
no, go ahead.
Basically, I think after this point, they find out that the Joker has one more.
That's exactly where we're at.
The Joker has one more duty before their duties are done, and the Joker goes to the inner circle, and the Joker, aka Courtney, is able to choose one person in the circle to become influencer. Initially, when I saw this, I was kind of like, perfect. That's not a broken power. I was like, that actually makes sense. But I actually thought they were going to be the sole influencer initially, but then when they said one of, I was like, okay, it's only going to be one of the influencers. So how did you feel about Courtney having that power?
I thought that was okay. It's one of those things that like it could happen and couldn't happen, or it could happen if it didn't happen. I wouldn't really care. I don't think it's like too much. It would be too much if they got to pick both. But I like that it's one. It does make the blocking list very short for that next blocking though, because you have the two new players who are raiding but can't be blocked. Obviously you have River, because that's who he chooses, spoiler alert, that is influencer, so is raiding and can't be blocked. So I think it just really like downsizes the pool from even that one number or that one person. It affects things, but
because it was raiding through 5 people, right? It was yes, so it was only 4
5
people,
or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah, no, it's just 5, just 5.
Because 2 people were out. Yeah, so only 5 people were able to get blocked. Well, actually 4 because one of them were becoming influencers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very tight shit. But yeah, I think Courtney picking River, I knew it was going to be between River and Trevor, and I just think Courtney had a stronger relationship with River, so I think that was actually a good decision for Courtney. Most definitely.
I agree with you. So before we actually see that he picks River as his influencer, we have a few other things happen. So we get Emily chats with Courtney, and first of all, she calls Courtney baby boy, which I was just like, I don't know if that one plays, but do you, Emily?
It didn't. It was the Bryce connection.
It was the Bryce connection, you said?
Okay, so yes. So basically,
I saw Bryce tweet about it, and I saw because I followed Jack today. I'm starting to lay the seeds of like getting him on here. So I followed him today, but I don't understand that. Go ahead.
So basically, I didn't know Jack, and like, everybody was talking like, oh my God, sequester. I didn't know Jack from that. Like, I knew Jack from, he basically did like updates early on the Purple Pants podcast. And he also went on a trip to Africa with like Bob, Window, Desmond, Bryce, when they went to South Africa, I believe, to play Survivor or whatever. And I think that's how him and Bryce met. But he will be on the Purple Pants podcast, just talking about Survivor updates or whatever. I don't say his takes were like, no shade. His takes were okay. Like, it's not like he just had like really good takes, but like I don't know. I looked at Jack as like, okay, Jack could do some stuff, but I feel like, I don't even know what the initial question was, but I feel like Jack outplayed himself because he didn't know really where he wanted to take Emily. Oh, the baby boy comment. So yeah, so basically he's really cool with Bryce. So I'm pretty sure that's why he slipped that in there.
Yeah.
Especially because Courtney is a queer individual. So he thought that was going to be cute probably. But I don't think it worked out as much as he wanted it to work out.
I mean, like, Bryce retweeted it if that's what you were going for. Like, otherwise, I don't know. So it feels like Emily is doing a lot of sucking up to Courtney, but also Courtney returns it. It's just like, it's such a fake conversation. And then Emily tries to bring up the 4-person squad of Chloe, River, and the 2 of them. And Courtney's like, yeah, sure, of course. But really, Courtney, you can tell, is just out to get Emily. So something that I want to bring up about Emily, that if Jack got to play again, I would hope that Jack invests a bit more time with the connections before, like, okay, well, I asked how you are and I complimented you, so now let's talk strategy. Because it just comes, like, it really just makes everything seem like fake before that. Obviously, there's a game going on, and I'm not taking anything away, but I do think in the circle that I think it's harder to block someone you like. And so if you make someone like you more, you don't have to talk as much strategy because they feel so obligated to keep you because they don't want to lose you because they like you. And I think that was, like, oh, that's my friend. I don't want to get rid of them. That's really it. Like, there's other options. So I think that if Jack could play again, I would want him to take that piece of advice. He does that in a lot of the conversations.
But Jack has promised. The problem is Jack I correctly identified who he needed to be squatted up with. I'm not gonna hold you up. He saw the 3 stack and was like, okay, I actually need to get with them. So I can't fault Jack for that, but I will agree. Jack was just like bombarding himself into conversations, and I think that's his personality. But I think that's not Emily's personality. Like Emily. A girl, I don't want to say a girl won't do that. I won't speak for women like that, but like, I don't normally see women just popping up in conversations and then just like, I guess it's a game, but like, especially in here, like, you don't see them just popping in conversations and just saying, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Like, Tara Alicia was the closest to that. And to be honest, Tara Alicia got taken out because she was too strategic. So but Tara Alicia was also good at getting, personal relationships. So I can't even compare that because River called her his big sister. So I wouldn't even put them in the same category. I agree with that. I feel like a little more personable, like feelings with people would have took Emily a little bit further because everybody just felt like Emily was fake at a certain point because she didn't make executive decisions. She waffled a lot, and they found out she was catfish.
Yeah,
They really
that,
assumed she was catfish.
and then basically the circle announced, by the way, everyone,
Mhm.
Emily's a dude. In
Period.
case you're trying to figure that out, let us figure it out for you.
Mhm.
So we get Mitchell chatting with Chloe. Chloe wants to be flirting with. They flirt with each other, and then Chloe, while talking with Mitchell, gets a message from Trevor. Have we seen this before? Again,
I've never
that's
seen
that
this.
the producer touch on it of like, oh, message right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Trevor is the one who messages Chloe, and Chloe has to decide, do I keep talking to Mitchell? Do I keep talking to, or do I switch over and talk to Trevor? So she like hangs up on Mitchell and goes over to Trevor. So they get to know each other a little bit better, and that's really it. Like they connect more. She's happy with her decision.
I mean, you have to click over. That's the move. Keep it like not reply like accepting the call from somebody is so much worse than like leaving the conversation. So much worse.
You can easily explain, like you've put your time in with one, you can give more time to the other. So after that, we get the game Batter Up, which they each have to pick an animal that symbolizes their personality and create it with a pancake. So I thought that some of these people just were like reaching because like, why are you picking such a difficult animal? How the fuck do you make a peacock out of pancakes? Like, why? Go.
Oh, not this. Yeah, I don't know why they tried these difficult animals. I personally would have chose a bear because I like bears, or a dog. Anything that would have been easiest to make and like cutest to make. Like that's what I would have chose. I would have chose nothing too difficult. A peacock, like a lion. I guess like Courtney called himself. What did he do? A polar bear or a koala bear or something, or a panda bear? Oh, he did a panda bear. It looked like I don't know what that looked like. It is not like a panda.
With the easy one that.
Yeah, I don't know what that panda bear was, but I mean, I kind of like this challenge. I mean, it doesn't expose much. Expose you can't cook.
I hate my internet. I don't know why it's doing this. It's never done
It's
this
okay.
before.
It's
I
like,
love because I can start hearing you like monologuing and be like, okay, so here we go. Peacocks, everybody. Like, how about pancakes? Airplane food. That's the worst.
No, I mean, I felt like they did choose very difficult animals, but this challenge was also this challenge was balanced, and I'm always talking about balance with the challenge, but like this challenge was balanced enough where it wasn't going to expose anybody for being a catfish per se.
Right.
It was just going to expose them not being able to cook. So
right. That would be me getting exposed for that. That would have been figured out 3 episodes ago. I can't cook for shit. So after that challenge, though, this was a funny part of the episode for me. They show Chloe sweeping. Why are they using that fucking broom? Like, that's like what you like push leaves away like from your sidewalk with. What brooms do they use in the UK? Like, what is that?
It's like an industrial broom that they have in like a Subway or something, or like a Jimmy John's. There's some place or at school. Like, why are they got this big ass, long ass broom in here? But it was funny that do you think she really swept that under there? First of all, I don't think they clean up their own apartments. I think somebody comes in and cleaned it up.
I'm sure that there's someone who, well, because I know on the celebrity one, they always were joking like, the DJs that lived together that played will.i.am, like when someone would come to visit, he would always like clean the apartment entirely. So I would think that it wasn't like that dirty though. Maybe when they go to the gym or like the rooftop or something, someone comes in and cleans it. But yeah, I mean that was, I'm just like, what fucking broom are we using here? So after that, we get an alert. And so I was not expecting this alert. I was not expecting the circle to be like, players, there's been a Joker. The Joker spoke to the new players before they entered the circle. The Joker chose one of the influencers for the next rating, and that influencer is River.
They had to, I think. I'm sorry.
I mean, I guess they could have maybe gotten away with not admitting the Joker, but admitting like they had to say that someone was picking the influencer.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, but I guess for drama, you say that there's a Joker too.
Yes, I mean, I liked it. I actually liked it getting introduced. I liked that it wasn't just a full kept secret between three people, and then more so, it was like, okay, three people got to actually experience the Joker. One person knows that they're the Joker. The two people knows the information from the Joker, and then the rest of the people in the house have to figure out basically who the Joker threw under the bus. Because if you were not the Joker, you have to assume somebody threw somebody under the bus. I liked it. I think the reveal was okay. I think it gets them thinking a lot, but like you said earlier, you can waste your time trying to find out who the Joker is, or you could just actually keep playing the game. So
right,
the decision is up to you.
We get some of the ratings being shown. So just a quick rundown. Mitchell rates Emily number 1. River rates Lance number 1. Kat rates Courtney number 1. Lance rates Terralisha number 1. Then Terralisha rates Chloe number 2. Emily rates Terralisha number 2. River rates Courtney number 2. Terralisha rates Trevor number 3. Trevor rates Lance number 4. Courtney ranks Emily last, and Emily ranks Trevor last. So those are the only ones they showed to us. Obviously not enough to give us like the full insight of who's going to be what. But
I don't think they ever will do, but I kind of want to know, I want to know, really what the ratings be.
Yeah, and I wonder if they'll ever expose that, like they do the final ratings lately, because I think that might be where they play around with things a little bit if they were. But they don't play with things because I'm taking everything at face value for the rest of this conversation. It's probably like Channel 4 and Netflix like cutting my internet. That's why I keep getting kicked off. They're like, this bitch is exposing us. Turn off her Wi-Fi.
So funny.
I'm sorry, Netflix. Netflix. Maybe I should unplug my Alexa. That's probably ratting on me right now. Fucking snitch.
I'm sorry. I can't keep going.
Unrelated. Well, related to that, I went to set an alarm earlier today, and then Alexa was like, do you want Samuel L. Jackson to wake you up in the morning? And my boyfriend was like, yes. And I'm like, stop. And he's like, okay, we've put this on your credit card. So now on my credit card, because he said it, Samuel L. Jackson is now like the Alexa voice on my thing. So
Beautiful.
It's now Samuel L. Jackson talking to me. And he was like, happy birthday, baby. I'm like, fuck you. It's on my card.
I have a question. This is so, they're going to kill us. Did Alexa replace Siri?
Did Alexa replace Siri? I think they it's kind of how Target and Walmart exist. I think it's kind of that relationship.
I just don't feel like Siri is hip anymore. I think Alexa is all nice and cute. She got her little light bulbs and shit too, and you can just say Alexa on or Alexa off or whatever, and your light is turned off. So it's kind of like Siri can't do that. So
yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that Alexa has expanded further. So no, don't start talking, lady. She's right behind there. She heard me say her name. All right. So after the ratings, this is one of these chats that I don't understand why it happens at this time. So it's definitely not the producers telling them to do it. But Terralisha chats Kat, and Terralisha straight up goes in and is like, what did the Joker say to you? Does not hold back. Kat said that the Joker didn't give too much information and she doesn't know who it is, but the Joker said that Terralisha doesn't tell the truth and Chloe can't be trusted. And Kat said, don't worry, I'm going to make my own opinions regardless of what was said to me. And that's where Terralisha has decided that it is Emily. So producers definitely didn't make this chat happen.
Because what? The through line of Terralisha just literally taking everything at face value, I think that's what happened. I think if this was a real situation where they were having a conversation and it wasn't an anonymous person, maybe it was Emily that they was talking to. But since it was an anonymous and they don't want people to, smell their scent, I think Courtney did a really good job because he really got Tara Alicia spinning. Like he got her all around because she don't know basically who the Joker is, and she's like obsessed and thinking that is Emily. I think Tara Alicia giving basically Kat a lot of bad intel about who potentially the Joker could be, and I felt like it was really a pointless combo. Especially, I wouldn't be talking to Kat. We love to see it. We love double carries, but
No one even needs one of me, much less two.
we need 1,000 carries just popping up everywhere. It'd be beautiful. But basically, all I was saying was I think the conversation was very pointless. Basically, for Tara Alicia had the wrong information. Like, I want to know why so strongly she felt like it was Emily. Like, I get it, but Emily didn't block you. Wait, you know what I'm saying? Emily didn't block you when she had to. So why would Emily throw you under the bus?
My guess is that Tara Alicia had a really bad read on her relationship with Courtney, because if she can't be dumb enough to not run through the other options. She's a smart woman, you know what I mean? So I know that we saw Courtney kind of like play along with their conversation when he's been anti her since Savannah told him that Tara Alicia wanted to block him. So maybe she thought like, okay, it has to be this because it can't be these other people. Because later on and I didn't write it down, but she said like, it can't be this person because of this. It can't be that person because of this. She never mentions Courtney though. But she's like, so it has to be Emily.
She said,
right?
she basically said she didn't say that to Courtney. Like she didn't have, she haven't had conversations with Courtney about that. So how will Courtney know?
Right.
But people make stuff up, Tara Alicia.
Yeah.
I think that's the gear that she was missing. People actually lie in the circle. So,
and probably because she's like such an honest person that like sometimes, I know for me it's like I take a lot of things at an honest value because I'm so honest that it's like, oh wait, people can be shady sometimes. Like, gotta remember this. So I also don't think that this was put in by production because there's definitely no insight that Tara Alicia is going to get blocked and that she's going to go see someone to then pass on this information. There's definitely no way that could be a possibility for why this happened at all. So,
trying to make sure the internet don't get cut off. We love
it. There's absolutely no way. We get our rating. So Tara Alicia's in last again. 5th is Lance. 4th is Emily. 3rd is Trevor. 2nd is Chloe. And so 1st and the other influencer is Courtney. And they go to the hangout to block someone.
I have I got so much feelings about this. I feel like Courtney had the right idea trying to go against Emily at first. And this is why I said I think Courtney, I know I skipped the whole conversation they had, but like I've been wanting to talk about this for so long because I feel like Courtney is literally still playing Savannah's game. And I think Courtney failed to realize Courtney's power in the circle. Courtney was able to miss Tara Alicia so much to the point where I don't know. He obviously didn't feel it, but Tara Alicia was not anti-Courtney at that point. I don't think she was like. I think Tara Alicia had more fish to fry because Tara Alicia was coming from the bottom, so she can't just have enemies. She has to rely on a lot of people, and I feel like Courtney should have thought about the future. Tara Alicia has burnt a lot of bridges in the circle, and Tara Alicia has visibly just been on the bottom of the rankings. Why are you taking somebody that's on the bottom out of the circle?
Right.
That's my whole thing. That's it. It made no sense to me.
No, I agree with you. And like you said, the only justification is, well, they took out my ally, so I'm gonna get them. But like, that's not necessarily what's best for your game. However, I mean, good on you, Courtney, for setting a goal and figuring it out, or in like how to accomplish it. But I don't know if that's the best goal.
Not at all. They hate Carrie. They said You are not going to have to podcast today. You are not able to because you disrespecting us and you blowing up our secrets. So let me cut your Wi-Fi and you going to figure it out. But overall, I feel like River also, I want to say, I think River failed Terra Alicia to make a statement saying that, Terra Alicia was more like your big sister and that you felt really comfortable with Terra Alicia. But the first thing you did when you became influencer was block her. Like after, you saw her on the bottom, Terra Alicia also saved you. And I feel like I know River is doing good enough, aka Lee is doing good enough to, position himself well for like, people to, choose him to become influencer. I don't know if River would have been influencer without Courtney becoming the Joker, but what I do know is when Terra Alicia had that power, Terra Alicia did not take River out the game. Terra Alicia actually actively protected Lee in the sense of actually going against Courtney, which ultimately burned her own game because once Savannah was like, "Oh, Charlie's coming for you, Courtney," she peeped game to Courtney, and then Courtney actually took out a vengeance against Terra Alicia. So I think if River would have saved Terra Alicia, I feel like I don't say Courtney would still have an axe to grind with somebody in the game, but he would repay back a debt that Terra Alicia gave to him prior to like, that blocking. I feel like overall that the hangout was, I guess it was a success. Like Carrie said, like Courtney got, his vengeance out. He set his sights on getting Terra Alicia out, but I think he missed a golden opportunity to take Emily out before this. He risked. I just feel like Courtney risked a lot keeping Emily in the game. Carrie, you back? Not you coming back and freezing again. I mean, I don't want to move on. I do want to have dead air. So, how are you guys feeling about the circle in the chat? Anything to say? I don't know about it. Oop. The homie coming back in. If you were on a circle, would you go as a catfish or yourself? I personally feel like I would fuck up on a catfish. Like the only kind of catfish I would have to be another guy. Hey, Carrie, I couldn't be a woman. I would mess up.
Okay, so I am clearly having some technical issues today, and we just got to the end of episode 2. Do you think it's in our best interest to maybe cut here and then you and I can reconvene sometime before Wednesday? Because I obviously want to keep talking to you, Ganjo. This has been fantastic. However, my dumb internet is being dumb. It's because they hate
Netflix. Me. They sent that surge right to your router. They said, let me blow your router up right quick.
Yeah, say one more thing. Do you think that it's in like the Samuel L. Jackson voice too that I've now paid $3 for? They're threatening me. Okay, so unfortunately, my internet sucks, but fortunately, Ganjo has been able to monologue for you and keep this afloat. So we're going to come back at a later time, later date, sometime maybe before Wednesday. The good news is, well, it's bad news, but my softball team, someone tested positive for COVID. So I now have 2 weeks of free time I wasn't planning on. So we'll definitely get this done before the next episodes come out. You can follow Ganjo.
Yes, at Ganjo the Dank on Twitter, Ganjo the Dank 2 on Twitter, and Ganjo the Dank on Instagram.
So was there already a Ganjo the Dank that?
Yes. Oh my God. The unfortunate part, I was doing these covers on Twitter and I was like learning how to play guitar. And like there weren't even like real covers. They was just like me playing random notes and like actually singing next to the thing or whatever, period. And then all of a sudden I had like at least 12 copyright infringements in my email, and then eventually they just said, okay, we snatching this account because we don't want to get sued.
So it was you were the first one and you're the second one. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I mean, it sucks, but it's funny. So follow Ganjo. He's also podcasting for us, covering Disney Channel original movies.
Yes.
I heard that you're gonna have someone on there for Brink. Yes.
Is
it me? Is it me?
Yes. What is it? You and Sabrina. Shout
And
out
Sabrina.
To that. I'm so excited for that one. You know, Brink is a good one, and I'm excited to go through these. Like these DComs they're wild, but they're fun to watch because they're like nostalgic, and like you get to see how Disney was trying stuff at this point.
Yeah.
They weren't scared. Now they probably won't be able to try half this stuff, but they were not scared at early on.
Yeah, Brink is my favorite. I have a Team Pup and Suds shirt, as I said in the group chat, and the reason for it was that was my Nationals uniform for dodgeball a few years ago. We were Team Pup and Suds, so it's one of my favorite T-shirts. But you can follow me at KGD26, and I luckily have unlimited data, so my Wi-Fi cutting out will not stop me from tweeting dumb shit all the time. So at one point, Ganjo said I was his favorite follow in the last month. That was a couple months ago. So I'm Ganjo approved.
You still up there. Listen, you more damn sure than Ganjo approved. You're Carrie approved because you're so damn funny.
You can tell when I'm working from home because I have like 90 tweets in a day. And then when I'm at school, I'm silent because I can't access Twitter like at the actual school. So on Wednesdays is the day to follow me because I'm now working from home on Wednesdays.
They block Twitter at your school?
Yeah.
I guess it's the kids, right? So
yeah. Have you met teenagers? So that's I'm gonna be kind of quiet Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, but Wednesday is the day to follow my account when I put all the dumb shit I've been thinking all week onto the internet. I'm here for the retweets and the retweets only. So you could follow us on Twitch, on YouTube, both at Silent Podcast, or I believe it's Silent Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter now, silent_podcast. So overall, check us out on social media. You've got a lot of personalities to follow, a lot of reality TV, a lot of non-reality TV content. Overall, just good time. So we will catch you sometime between now and the future. Whenever, now my internet's working. Fuck this place. So we don't know when, but we will recap episodes 7 and 8, which are some quality episodes. The demise of Jack.com would be my name for it. And I'm looking forward to doing that then with you, Ganjo.
Yeah, same. Have fun podcasting tonight.
Well, wait, are you podcasting? I'm tutoring.
No, I said I had fun. I'm sorry. The crept out. It didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I obviously had fun. This was a great time. And I'm excited to get to do this with you more since we already talked, for a half hour. You had to talk by yourself for like 40 minutes of it.
No, you're good. Shout out to part 2 coming soon. We love to see you.
Yeah, the sequel is coming in hot. All right. Thank you again for watching, listening to Silent Podcast, where we're anything but silent.